Tampa Bay, Stanley Cup winners.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I've said it 100 times, and I'm going to say it again. They got tougher. The year before, they get beat out 4 straight. They sat down and said, let's take a look at Washington. Let's take a look at Boston in the finals. Boston had the most fights in the. And I hear people, oh, Harry has fight. Well, Boston had the most fights in the whole league that year, and we had Tom Johnson and Ovechkin. The whole bunch of them. They.
Well, yeah, you were saying the 1 year Washington won, they were really tough.
They were tough. They had remember Tom Wilson running around banging and smashing, and he was the guy.
And then last year Boston led the league in fights, and St. Louis was tough.
St. Louis was tough, and I remember and I'll mention it again. They were a little funny. They were playing a little funny against Boston. And Krug got hit in the corner. Remember, Krug got hit in the corner?
Yep.
And he lost his helmet, and he was mad. He ran and he hit that kid. There was a kid named Thomas. And St. Louis said, this is the way you want to play, eh? And Berube had them run after that. Well, anyhow, it was tough.
Yep.
Washington, the reason Tampa won was because they had changed their philosophy. I remember Cooper saying, we get a team 3-0. We try to beat them 9-0. We played it tough. They were a tough team. And if you saw the finals this year, they were a tough team. That's why they won. And I see the Leafs are doing really well this year to get in the finals. They've signed a Swede.
Yeah, another small defenseman.
And Tampa this year, as I said, they got tough. They knew what was going on. And if you don't get tough, you don't win in the playoffs. And watching Tampa and Dallas play, I know the ratings weren't too good, but that was pretty good hockey. You have to admire the players this year. They're in that bubble, and they didn't go out. They didn't bring people in, and nobody got that virus. And you really have to admire the players, and that's a good Canadian. Most of them are Canadian.
Dad, I remember a long time ago when Tampa was just debating or whether they could get a franchise in Tampa, and there was a couple other teams or cities that wanted a franchise, and you were behind or you were involved in one of those debates, weren't you?
Yes, I was with Jerry Patterson, and Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons was involved in too. Ron Joyce was one of the guys behind it. It was in Hamilton, and they had Cops Coliseum. They had a beautiful arena. It still is a beautiful arena. They were going to make the boxes bigger, and we're all set to go.
And they had a lot of the season ticket holders sell. So the minimum amount, they had them all sold out.
Well, they could. I think they sold out in 10 seconds. So they get touched something. They had the whole deal was sold. We were all set, and Phil Esposito was with Tampa. And a guy, I forget his first name, is Firestone, was with Ottawa. I forget his first name. Anyhow, it's Firestone. So we were all set. At 12 o'clock, and I went to bed, and Jerry said, we're all set. We're all set to go and everything like that. But they had to have the meeting the next day. And Phil walked in with Tampa and said, we've got a building. We're ready to go, and we're going to get a building, and we've got the money. And he never had anything. He never had a building. He never had anything. He had no money at all. And he said, we got it, and we're ready to go. So the Ottawa guy walked in and said, yeah, we got a building too. No building. We're all set to go. We're going to build that building, and we're ready to go. So I hate to say it, but the head of Tim Hortons walked in and said, well, can we talk? As soon as he said, can we talk, we lost the franchise. The NHL didn't want to hear it. We didn't talk. Can we give a little? Listen, once you say you don't have, and we had the money. We had the check and everything ready to go. And Hamilton would have been a great franchise. We weren't worried about Buffalo. We weren't worried about anybody.
Do you think the NHL would have been worried about the Buffalo franchise?
Well, they didn't really want didn't want a Canadian team. They wanted Tampa. They really did want Tampa. And Phil,
but I remember Jerry saying that they were told that night that we had the franchise. That the NHL said Hamilton has the franchise. we're going to have a 10 o'clock press conference and announce it. And then Jerry said, I got a call at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we got to talk. He says, I knew that wasn't good news. And they said, nope, Ottawa's getting it.
Ottawa's getting it, and Tampa's getting
Tampa.
it. And the reason they got it was because they had no billing, they had no money, they had anything. But they said they were positive. And when we walked in, I wasn't there, but when they walked in, so can we talk? And we had the money, we had the billing, we were ready to go. And that's how Tampa got in. And the first couple of years,
And Hamilton still doesn't have a team.
No, I'm afraid
But
not.
and the one thing with Hamilton, like they have the Bulldogs there, the junior
American
18, the junior 18.
And they had
They had the American, and they drew well. They drew well for the American League. They really drew well for junior hockey.
Listen, believe me, the people that can't get tickets in Toronto would all be lined up in Hamilton. Can you imagine the rivalry of Toronto and Hamilton?
Oh, that would be great. And that Cops Coliseum is a beautiful rink.
And it is a beautiful arena.
It is, yeah.
And they were going to make bigger boxes. And I remember they had Team Canada down there. They were lined up the Highway 8 they were lined up.
Well, we know Hamilton well because that was the first bar we had in Hamilton, right?
I don't know. I don't think we had a bar then. No. Nope. Anyhow, I'll tell you, boy, that would have been a great franchise. And Tampa this year, as I said, they got tough. They knew what was going on.
Dad, I want to mention our sponsor, Spreads.ca. It's owned by the Abenaki Council of Willownack First Nations, and they're an online casino and sportsbook. And if you sign up today and use the promo code GRAPES, they'll match your deposit 100%. So if you put $25 down, they'll give you $25. And you get 15 free spins on a kind of a slot machine. And if you get, I think, 3 of your jackets, you can win some big dough. And they get a $25. And if you're going to bet $25 on the sports bet, they'll give you $25 free to bet on it. So
all right, sounds good.
Yeah, kind of the sports though. I think the only sport I'm going to be betting on and watching is the Yankee Tampa Bay baseball.